We provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm gambling regulations in your state of residence. To participate in sports gaming, you must be 21 years of age or older and be physically present in a state where sports betting is legal. If you or someone you know has a sports betting or gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org for more information and further assistance.
Welcome to the Spread Zone NCAA March Madness. We're talking Sweet 16 basketball, baby. My name is Riz. That is Tim McKernan. Anthony Stalter, very tan back from the break.
Hello.
Welcome back, Anthony.
Thank you.
And Action Jackson.
Yes.
Who, man, this guy knows his college basketball.
He knows it. He loves it, and it's an honor for him to be on the set with us, Riz.
Tim just took the words right out of my mouth. I literally had it written down on a note card over here. So
What an honor.
That it was an honor for us to be with you.
I get nervous around you guys.
That's fine.
Three big wigs.
Gentlemen, how did we do the first two rounds? I will just say
I can't wait to hear.
there has not been a lot of madness for this March Madness. Am I right?
You do have dinosaurs on this dinosaur tour, no? Right?
This is no madness.
No
What
Cinderella.
madness has there been? If you're somebody who lives for the chaos of March Madness, the Cinderella stories, the shocking upsets, the double-digit seeds that make the runs, that's not happening in 2025. This year has been pretty tame. And Action Jackson, am I correct in that assessment?
In terms of double-digit seeds pulling upsets, usually or the craziness.
Usually at least one top 4 seed goes down the first round. Since 2018, a 4 seed or higher has lost in almost every tournament. Not this year. Not this year. The higher seeds have dominated. 14 of the 16 teams seeded 1 through 4 won their first round games by double digits. The only exceptions, what, Action Jackson? Can you name the 2 exceptions?
The 2 exceptions would be St. John's
Nope.
losing.
Talking about winners?
Riz,
The
I'm happy to take the question.
The higher seeds have dominated. 14 of the 16 teams seeded 1 through 4 won their first round games by double digits. Can you name the only 2 exceptions?
He's in the tank, I can tell you that. This guy's thinking through it
Well,
right
I don't
now.
want to cheat because I have the answer, like I have the bracket right in front of me, but I don't want to
Texas A&M
cheat. Okay.
and Alabama.
Oh,
Still won by 9 points.
Yeah. Right at the edge there.
9 of those.
Bobby Morris.
9 of
Ice
those.
cold to start for me.
9 of those 16 teams won by at least 20 points.
We haven't even gotten to Clemson yet.
I know.
The highest seed to make it out of the first round were 2 12 seeds, and they were.
Colorado State
And
McNeese.
Yes!
who defeated your?
Clemson Tigers.
That's right.
Well, Tim, they put up a good 13 points in the first half against them.
That's exactly right. If a team can score 13 points in the first half, it sends a message that they mean business, Riz.
So listen, Colorado State was actually favored over Memphis.
Yes, we
Which we
released a
talked
5-star play on this
We
podcast.
talked about that one.
It's the only thing we hit on.
McNeese State's win over Clemson was actually one of the only few surprises out of the first round.
Jackson, do you know what the number was? Because you did have Clemson in the Final Four, but do you know what the spread was on Clemson and McNeese State?
I thought it was 8.5.
Okay, so that by definition was the biggest upset.
Yeah.
Outside of the seed element of it, it was the biggest point total.
Yeah.
Because Missouri and Drake was a 6.5 point number.
It was definitely more than that.
Now, the second round, the round of 32, the biggest quote-unquote upset was probably Arkansas taking down St. John's.
The 10 over the 2.
But yeah, the 10 over the 2, but that's, I mean, it's John Calipari, it's coaching Arkansas. Means it's hard to call that a Cinderella story.
SEC team, best conference in the nation right now.
Do you know that 15 of the 16 teams in the Sweet 16 are represented by only 3 conferences? Fun fact for no one tell. How about that?
SEC, Big 10, Big 12.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Taking notes, Jackson?
Yeah. Can you name the one team outside of that?
Of course I can. That would be BYU. No,
No, they're in the
BYU's
Big 12.
Son of a. Okay, let me think here. Off the top of my head, I'm going to nail this. Drawing a blank. Who is it?
Duke.
Duke in the ACC.
How about that? What are the chances of
I
one
didn't even
ACC
think
team?
I was thinking of a small program.
Right. That's kind of the weird thing is like the ACC was so down this year that they are kind of like a smaller mid-major.
So I would imagine, Riz, with the information you're giving here, that people actually made money on the first weekend of the NCAA
Well, I
tournament.
want to ask you guys this question. Out of all the games that have been played so far, again, we're rolling into the Sweet 16, Yahoo Sports, CBS Sports, ESPN all have big bracket picking competitions. Out of all three of those organizations, tremendous sports organizations, how many perfect brackets are left?
0.
I bet there are some actually this time. And usually by this time of year, the answer is, Anthony, 0. But I bet there's...
Because it's been, not really many surprises. Again, no Cinderella story rolling through. How many brackets are perfect still?
I'm going to take the over on 0.
You can take the over on 0.
I'm gonna stick with 0
0.
here. The way you're phrasing that, I'm reading you. I'm playing poker.
No, I know, and I respect that play because, how are we going to give the number?
Right.
I'll just say 6.
I'll say 7.
He prices right at me.
The answer is 0.
Oh, that's Stalter. That was a great read.
So
Thank you.
That was a
Yahoo
great read.
Sports
I didn't have the
He would have
card.
phrased it differently.
Yahoo Sports
You
and CBS Sports both said users with perfect brackets disappeared on Saturday. ESPN had their final perfect bracket of the 34 million entries that went kaput on Sunday.
Don't you think this is a reasonable bracket to have with all of the ones that are filled out? Yeah, you do. Don't you?
Of all the years that I've been following
Yes.
this, I would think this would be the year.
Right.
Yeah.
It's chalky.
The odds of somebody picking a perfect tournament bracket is 1 in 120.2 billion.
For the entire tournament.
entire tournament.
Okay. To this point, I would think, especially this year, like you said, would be reasonable. I'm surprised to hear that. But Anthony made the read on you. Wonderful read.
Tim, I got to give you a lot of credit for that because you typically are playing poker.
That's right.
You typically are the one to read.
Pick it off.
So I just used the Tim McKernan playbook.
Yeah, I'm having a bad podcast.
Oh, you're fine.
Well, wouldn't you guys say, there's one thing that stands out this year is the number one seeds are dominating.
Yep.
Dominating. Duke, Houston, Florida, Auburn have all looked like the class of the tournament so far. And only once in NCAA history, back in 2008, have all 4 number one seeds made it to the Final Four.
That was Memphis and Kansas. Mario Chalmers.
Derrick Rose on Memphis.
D. Rose on Memphis. Yeah.
Oh,
John Calipari.
This year, it looks like it could happen.
Jackson and I, Anthony, had a bet, and I'm curious what you think of this, speaking to what Riz is talking about, in which I got the field and he got the 4-1 seeds in Alabama. I got 2-1 on my money if any of those teams, other than those 5, won the tournament.
so you have the fields.
I do.
You
So at
don't
this point, I have
draw.
11 teams. He has 5 because all 5 of those teams have made the Sweet 16.
I like Florida to win it all. If I don't like Florida, I like Duke. So
I'm in
with
trouble.
Jackson.
This guy's going to get my $10.
Well, hey, listen. The only winner from last week was me because I wasn't on the pod.
Right. Well,
I'm the one that's like, I don't know what he's got.
in all honesty, who was your Final Four? We had our...
Yeah, I went chalk. I went Florida over Duke in the title game. I got Duke over Tennessee on the one side, and I got Florida over I think Texas Tech.
Wow, in the Elite 8.
Yes.
Okay. So you had St. John's fallen to either Tech or earlier.
I had St. John's falling to Arkansas,
Okay.
I believe.
I think you'd
could
have
verify.
Auburn, right? Would you
Auburn,
have
thank you, sorry.
Tech is on the
Yes.
same side.
I got
Same
Tech
regional.
versus Auburn.
Got it.
There's
my Final Four is still intact.
Tip of the cap.
Because I got Michigan State, Florida, Duke, and Houston. All 4 are still... You had Missouri.
I had Missouri all the way, Anthony,
Whoa.
to not just go to the round of 32. No. To not just go to the Sweet 16. No. Not the Elite 8. No. Not the Final Four. Not the championship game. To win the whole thing. And I'm sitting there in Wichita with my family, tears in my eyes, brother. Not only because I made the trip, because I had to stay there overnight, and I'm watching my bracket go up in flames.
Now, did you believe that, or was
Yes,
this
I
podcast-
asked him
honestly did. I
Now, we're
honestly
in St.
did.
Louis,
The
and I
look
thought
up.
this was a homer pick.
No, the look on Riz's face. He's like, "You really want to go with this?" And I'm like, "I do," because look at the look on your face.
I'm just, Sometimes you get a little radio magic to you.
No. I
go with
say
my
what I
team.
mean.
I'm hoping people are coming to us for serious
I
analysis.
know, and that's why I wanted to hit. So not only have I driven to Wichita, but now I'm sitting there watching this going, I'm going to have to answer for it on the spread zone.
And if we go back to the first podcast, I did say Drake would win.
Yeah, you're on a heater over there. So we do have a sharp.
Yeah.
It's Riz.
He's hosting.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
not.
let's get into it, fellas.
There we go.
Yeah,
there
yeah.
we go.
Let's get into our Sweet 16 games, and we'll start with the Thursday games. We'll start with Alabama, the number 2 seed, against the number 6 seed, BYU. Alabama favored by 4.5 points. We'll start with Tim. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are the total is too low. And when I don't even need to look, it is without question the highest total in the Sweet 16 matchups, 174.5. This reminds me of a number of Alabama games this year where they're trying to get it high enough to catch people, and it just can't get there. These two offenses are going to go off. This is the play I love the most of anything this Thursday or Friday in the Sweet 16, and that is the over on BYU Alabama. Even if they set it at 185.
The over.
The over is gold on this game. Gold. It's a 5-star play. 5 stars. It's just been released, Anthony.
So
Sweet St.
BYU
Mary's.
and the over?
I can't give you a play on either team.
Okay.
But I love the over.
Taking the over. Anthony.
So I love the pace that's going to be played. So Tim just talked about this. You have to figure if you're going to play something, it's going to be the over. I actually like BYU in the points here. Alabama should just post up on BYU. I think BYU's high, their tallest starter, I think, is 6'9", which, for us, great. It's a monster. But,
do anything for 5'9".
Yeah, absolutely. But when it comes to BYU being undersized, Alabama could really just work down low. They could play inside out. I don't think Alabama will. I think Alabama wants to play with tempo. I think they'll get into BYU's game, and BYU will hang with them. I think, you got a point total 175. I've seen 176 in some places. High-scoring game. Give me the dog plus 5.5.
Okay.
I got BYU.
Jackson.
Neither of these teams like playing any defense, hence the total. The over-under record in NCAA tournament history is 177 with Texas, Maryland
really?
back
Wow.
in 95.
Nugget.
Wow. Yeah, that is a nice little
dead
In
nugget.
1995?
1995, yes, sir. You guys want another
How
nugget?
old were you?
I was 3 years from being born.
Holy smokes.
I just hit you. I just hit you.
In 95?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. When the total is 170 or higher, Nate Oates' Alabama teams are 3-0 against the spread. So I like Bama minus 4.5.
Why didn't you go to Jackson first before I handed out that BYU play?
Bama in these high total games, they are the best when it comes to scoring the most, and I think they will outlast BYU. I think it's going to be an
Did
awesome
Missouri
game.
cover when they beat them?
Did Missouri? Yes, they covered when they.
So then.
But the game, I don't think it was set at 170 before
that
the start.
right?
Before
Okay.
it tipped
Before it
off.
started?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I remember you took it and then took it later.
Oh, yeah, I
and
just
it was
kept
like up
it.
to like 178.
Oh, it got up to over 200.
Yeah.
In Columbia,
Yes.
it tipped off at 172.5.
Jackson will issue an apology now to everybody in the audience.
That's the nugget I got.
Yeah, well, it doesn't make it right.
Second matchup of Thursday, Florida, Maryland. The number 1 seed, Florida. The number 4 seed, Maryland. We'll start with Action Jackson.
Depth is really going to kill Maryland.
Florida
on
by
this one.
6.5.
Yeah, I like Florida by 6.5 in this game because they got no depth going on with Maryland in their first 2 games of the tournament. They have 15 combined bench points. 13 of those came in their blowout game of Grand Canyon.
Yes, they only had 2 in the win against Colorado State. That's
And
exactly
what
right.
Florida will do is just keep producing those big athletic guards. No one's playing better than Walter Clayton Jr. right now. I love UF minus 6.5.
Yeah, he took over. Clayton took over in that UConn game. But I thought UConn for, 37 and a half minutes, they had Florida kind of dead to rights in that one. I was impressed with UConn.
They ran a playbook to effective.
I got Florida winning the national championship. But the way that Maryland can bang, Derek Queen is an NBA player.
He's a stud.
Yeah, Queen as a freshman is going to be playing in the NBA. I like Maryland's resilience. Colorado State is no joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Alabama getting past St. Mary's and Mount St. Mary. They beat every Mary's team thus far.
What about Bob Morris?
Bobby
Morris.
They played Bob Morris. That's right. I haven't been impressed with Alabama's run thus far, but Maryland, that's a tough game against Colorado State.
Yeah, Colorado State's legit. You're right.
I'm taking the points in this one. I think Florida, breathed the sigh of relief getting past UConn, and I think they win this game, but I'll take the 6.5, 7.
Both teams coming off of emotional wins, but I think oftentimes...
Was it a travel?
Boy, don't get Jackson going on that, Riz. Don't get him going on that.
That's for another podcast.
But when the top talent team has the emotional win and they dodge the bullet early on, oftentimes you see them just shoot off. And that's why your spot with having Florida winning the whole thing looks good. They dodged the bullet in Danny Hurley's game plan against them in the second round.
And by the way, Jackson was almost correct with
that he would get
Hurley
tossed.
Getting tossed.
The parlay that he gave us. Yeah, he did.
He was trying hard.
And I thought of you watching that game.
I was thinking the exact same thing, Riz. The parlay that he gave us that Hurley would get tossed. I love Florida minus 6.5.
Okay.
I love Florida minus 6.5. Right? Yeah, you are the contrarian right now.
Florida wins, they don't cover.
So Florida wins. So you're taking between 1 and 6 points. Wow, you're really limiting yourself there. But you're the sharp.
I think it's going to be a close game.
My concern is Queen gets into foul trouble and then they got nothing.
I think they're gonna bang down low. I really do. I think they're gonna be physical with.
That's the play.
Yeah.
All right, Duke, Arizona. Duke, who I have winning, the number 1 seed. It's the number 4 seed, Arizona. Duke 8.5. It looks like that is the Auburn, Michigan 8.5 too. What do you think? Let's start with Anthony.
I'm laying it. I'm not getting in front of this train.
Yeah.
Duke looks phenomenal. I mean, their offensive efficiency, their defense, they played outstanding defense. Arizona, nice little run here. I thought that was a nice win against Oregon. Oregon was impressive coming into the tournament, but I think with the way Proctor's playing, Flagg's injury's not an issue. I'm not stepping in front in this one. Give me Duke. I'll lay the points.
Okay.
I would take.
Tim.
I would take Duke as well. I would take Duke and lay the points. This thing could very well be the collision course that would be chalky, but Duke and Florida meeting for the national championship. Duke looks incredible. I'll lay the 8.5 as well.
Jackson.
Under John Shire, Duke has faced 24 non-conference opponents as a 6+ point favorite, and they are 17-7 against the spread in those games. All the logic tells you Duke is going to win and win handily.
He's going to go contrarian.
And I think they're going to win.
Oh, you're doing the Riz.
But I think the thing that is intangible almost is Caleb Love, St. Louisan, for the Wildcats. He had 29 against Oregon. Not to mention he ended Mike Krzyzewski's career with a game winner in 2022.
Oh my, you get so much knowledge.
Say it, Jackson.
The Caleb Love game is coming. I still think Duke wins, but I like Zona to cover 8.5.
Right.
Too big a number. People are going to be all over the Blue Devils, too.
Yes.
All over.
I agree with that part.
And I'll be on them. Duke wins by 12.
Wow.
Exacto.
These are specific numbers.
When Riz says stuff like that, I feel like he's got his playbook, his handbook.
Yeah, something's going on with this guy.
Into the future.
Yeah, you're a time traveler of some kind.
He's been to the future.
I got the sports almanac.
Yeah, you're Biff. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's touching the over-under?
Nope.
That 153.58 I see. The unique number.
It's 153.5. Sorry for the typo, fellas.
I just looked at it really quickly.
Sorry for the typo, fellas.
Riz put together this fine.
Well, you're so dialed in on the specifics. I know. That's the thing. Riz has done this one.
153.58, yes.
If it were 153.57, I would think about
like
it.
A gold 10 situation.
I would not touch that number. I do think that Duke wins it comfortably, but I agree that everybody and their brother is going to be on Duke, and that does scare me a little bit.
All right, the final game for Thursday is number 3 Texas Tech versus number 10 Arkansas. Tim, we'll start with you.
Oh, gosh. I think Texas Tech wins comfortably. I do. I think Texas Tech, the number's 5.5, and I think they win comfortably. I understand the hype around Arkansas. Turns out St. John's was not healthy in that game, and I think Texas Tech could very well be a threat to Florida. Should those two teams match, I would take Texas Tech in this one against Arkansas and San Francisco.
Anthony.
So if Tim didn't just take Texas Tech, I would go on a diatribe here about how the Red Raiders are completely flying under the radar because everybody loves Arkansas. I mean, like that's the
Oh, is that right? I didn't know everybody was on the Calipari factor and
Absolutely.
The Calipari factor, yes.
Hey, let's not forget that Texas Tech went into Houston and ended the Cougars. What, Jackson? Do you remember the exact number, the home win streak?
Oh, it was
that
something
Houston
crazy.
had?
It was something
insane.
crazy. Yeah.
And Texas Tech goes in there and thoroughly dominated them. The game wound up going into overtime, but if you watched it, I love Texas Tech. I think they're underrated. I'm laying the 5 here, 5.5.
Oftentimes, in particular in college sports, because you have so many teams, you'll have a team that if it had a different, quote, brand name, there'd be a greater appreciation for it. And if they don't have the brand name, they fly under the radar. And I think in 2025, it's Texas Tech.
Jackson.
Arkansas, in their 2 wins, is 8 for 43 from deep, yet they still won, which tells you that if they are able to increase their shooting ability, things would be all right. How do they do that? Well, Texas Tech can't protect the rim. JT Toppin's awesome, but they're not great at rim protection. That could open up opportunity for Arkansas to start knocking down some more open threes. The X factor is Boogie Fland. He's an NBA prospect for sure. He's been hurt all year. If he can come back and be good, I like them. Tech has played 7 neutral site games this year. They're 1-6 against the spread in those games. Give me the Razorbacks plus 5.5. And I would even take the Razorbacks money line.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the money line?
I don't know on the exact number on
I'm
it,
with
but
Jackson.
take it straight up.
You're going Razorbacks too, and you're the sharp.
Yep, Arkansas.
You got a money line
Win
too?
outright. I don't have
Win
the money line.
outright.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tim,
I also love Tech.
disrespect.
Yeah, this is the thing. This
I've
is
liked
disrespect.
I've liked Tech all year. It's just this rim protection thing.
You want to fire another ball?
And I know that Texas Tech beat Drake, who beat
this is
Missouri.
Now you see that? He pointed at me. That's what happened right there.
He was waiting for
He
it.
was. That's why when I saw that game, it gave me pain.
Another 10-piece, Tim.
Yeah, another 10-piece. We're just
Nice
throwing around
spread.
cash on this podcast,
Spread.
Anthony.
Oh.
You know what? Let's do it straight up. We'll do it straight up. I'll take Arkansas. You take Tech.
I don't even have to get the points?
No.
Mark. All right, fair enough.
All right, fellas, those are the Thursday games. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll come back. We'll talk about the Friday games. Spread zone. All right, Friday games, we start with Michigan State versus Ole Miss. Michigan State, the number 2 seed. Ole Miss, the number 6 seed. Michigan State, 2.5. So this is the lowest spread of all the games, all the Sweet 16ers.
Of all time. Well, okay, no.
Of this tournament.
Sure.
Jackson, we'll start with you.
This game is almost like tailor-made for Michigan State to dominate. Ole Miss is skated by teams who really don't like to guard all that much.
They don't enjoy defense.
Doesn't seem like it. Ole Miss in their first 2 games of the tournament have made nearly half of their 3-point attempts. Michigan State is the top 3-point defensive team in America. Tommy Izzo, they're going to slap the floor, and they're going to get after it. I like Michigan State.
Anthony.
Ole Miss outright.
Wow! This is the contrarian now.
Michigan State. So the only thing that I feel like everybody talks about with Michigan State is obviously Tom Izzo, and they've got depth. They've got depth. Okay, what is? If I'm looking at things, unless it's the Dodgers, and I'm talking about the depth of their lineup, like I don't care that you have depth. I think that this Ole Miss team is one of the hottest teams in the nation right now. Chris Beard, they've done well, 12-6 ATS since the first appearance in 2016. And then on 3+ days of rest for Beard, and his tournament teams are 8-1 against the spread. But I got Ole Miss outright.
I am in a weird spot here because the reason why the one play that we gave that was right on our first NCAA tournament broadcast,
The one
that I gave, Riz is on a heater,
Yeah.
was Colorado State against Memphis. And the reasoning was Colorado State was favored by 3.5 as a 12 seed. I love Michigan State, but because the number is so low, I will take Ole Miss because in my gambling experience, it's a trap, and I'll take Ole Miss. But everything basketball-wise tells me to take Michigan State. I feel like I'm going to get the right answer when you give
Michigan
the
State and the over. Wow. 143.5 because I got Michigan State eventually beating Auburn
right, in the title game. Or
in the Elite Eight.
In the Elite Eight.
So it's Michigan State to then beat Auburn next round to get
Gotcha.
into my Final Four.
got it.
Next game, Tennessee, Kentucky. Anthony, start with you.
So the big thing here is that
2 and 3.
Kentucky's beaten Tennessee twice now. Very difficult. I'm going to do the whole cliche. It is difficult to beat a team 3 times in a row. I think Tennessee, given the experience versus Kentucky's athleticism, but they got a lot of youth on that program right now. I respect Kentucky's run, but I think that Tennessee gets them this time. I think they play stifling defense. I think it's a rock fight and Tennessee covers.
This one strikes me as one that I want to have the points because I think it's going to be a battle. And I love the idea of being able to have 4.5 points in this one. I'll take Kentucky.
Jackson.
So they played twice before. It's really weird. Kentucky in both the games. So Kentucky the first game shot 50% from 3 and 50% from the field. In the second game, Kentucky shot 50% from 3 and 50% from the field. It's really weird. Tennessee doesn't really have an identity, much like Chevy Chase and Fletch. And
Wow. Little analogy.
the first two games, Tennessee shot 30-plus threes, and they shot under 30%.
They're terrible.
They can't shoot. When they shoot under 30 threes and start attacking the basket, they win. So if Tennessee can figure out that they're not a shooting team, I think the Vols can cover 4.5.
Now you're looking to me, huh?
I
Make
am.
my pick?
I'm really interested in yours because you're on the heater.
I will take Tennessee here.
Oh, no. I'm in trouble.
And Tennessee to cover, yes.
Okay, so
Tennessee to cover the 4.5.
3 versus 1. We haven't had consensus yet.
Oh.
What
is
about
probably
Auburn? What
smart.
about maybe this next one? Auburn, Michigan. I have a feeling we'll all be together on this one.
It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine.
I'm on Michigan, too.
You're on Michigan?
I'm actually not. I'm laying it.
Oh, are you? Okay.
You're on Michigan?
I'm on Michigan.
8.5.
Yes.
The number 1 seed versus the number 5 seed.
Yeah, I'm on
You're
Michigan.
on Michigan, huh?
8.5, yeah. I'm shorting the Auburn market. That's where I am.
I mean, Auburn looks good.
I understand. I'm shorting the Auburn market.
I don't
And I
think.
really like 8.5.
I think that the interior is a wash in this game. But when you get to the guard play, I think Auburn is going to absolutely murder the guards of Michigan. I think it's going to be a turnover fest for the Wolverines, and I think Auburn. They've already had turnover issues. I think Auburn rolls.
I'm in lockstep with Anthony on this one. Auburn. I think Auburn is hiding in the shadows.
3-on-1 again.
Just 3-on-1 here.
Just
waving. He's absolutely right. The big matchup is pretty straight up, but Michigan coughs it up a lot. If they do that against Auburn, they're going to be in big trouble. Chad Baker, Mazzara, boy, can he play. Pettiford might have been the better sixth man of the year in the SEC. As much as I love Caleb Grill, Pettiford was outstanding. I like Auburn.
You get some heat. You get some hate in this one too.
Yeah, yes.
You know, the transfer situation. The one kid played for Yale when they beat Auburn.
Yeah, when they beat Auburn last year.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, the final matchup. Maybe
right.
we could all be consensus on this one. Houston, Purdue. Houston by 7.5. We'll start with Anthony.
This one's tough because I love saying Purdue. I love it. And last year it finally caught up with me. Houston's weird. Their defense is obviously stifling. But if they don't shoot well, I don't feel comfortable laying the 8 or 7.5, whatever it is right now. Give me the points with Purdue.
Okay.
I love Houston if it were straight up, like love. But I agree with you that I'm a little intimidated by that number.
I'm uncomfortable.
But it's not something that I would be excited about laying. But I got to pick, and I think Houston's going to win, so I will take the 7.5, and I will lay 7.5 over Purdue.
What about the over/under 132.5? Are you touching that?
Yeah, I'd take the under in that. I think that's a number that's real low
I
that
agree
people
with you
get
on that.
scared by it. But Juwan Roberts and Houston are can dominate inside, and Boilermakers slow it down. Yeah, I would take the under if I had to. I like Houston minus 7.5 as well.
Okay. I'll take Houston too.
Oh, okay.
And 7.5.
So we almost had consensus.
Almost.
This time you were the
My bad.
All right, those are your Friday games. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, and everybody will give their locks of the week and our final thoughts. Spread Zone. All right, so I'm going to ask you the final question. I need your lock of the round.
I mean, it's so square, but I love it, and that is Alabama BYU over 174.5. It is gold. The number's too low.
Anthony, lock.
Texas Tech laying the 5.5 against Arkansas. Sorry, Jackson.
It's all good.
Or maybe I'll be sorry.
Florida minus 6.5.
I'm going to say Duke minus 8.5.
There you have it.
That's my lock.
Yeah.
All right.
I respect those plays.
All right, well, go forth and place your bets, and we'll see how it all shakes out. In fact, we'll go through the Sweet 16, we'll go through the Elite 8, and I believe we'll reconvene for the Final Four.
Should be good.
Good luck, everybody. Any final thoughts?
I think moving forward here, without the lack of Cinderellas, I think we're going to be all right here. I think we're going to get great basketball from here.
That's the thing. It's not the tournaments of years past where you have craziness and upsets. It's not that, but the basketball quality has been outstanding. I mean, a couple of really great games, especially Saturday and Sunday last weekend. There were some awesome games. I've been loving it.
All right. Well, that's it for us. It's the Spread Zone. See you next week.
We provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm gambling regulations in your state of residence. To participate in sports gaming, you must be 21 years of age or older and be physically present in a state where sports betting is legal. If you or someone you know has a sports betting or gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org for more information and further assistance.